Do you remember how was to help in German?
Helfen.
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 Helfen. Helfen. Helfen. In German, when you help somebody, you help to them or you help for them. So we don't say mich, for example. If you help me, you help mir. You help to me or for me. How would you say, can you help me? Can you help me?
Kannst du mir helfen? Helfen.
Very good. Kannst du mir helfen? Can you help him?
Kannst du ihm helfen?
Ihm. When it's to him, we have ihm instead of ihn. Kannst du ihm helfen? Can you help her?
Kannst du ihr helfen?
Kannst du ihr helfen? Very good. So sometimes in German we might get mir, to me, when we might just expect a simple mich, me. We might get ihr when we expect sie. And this just means that German is thinking of the verb or the word in a different way to you. German sees helfen as to help for, to aid to, rather than just to help. Nobody in German is niemand.
Niemand.
How was he once?
Will.
Very good. Will. Nobody wants.
Niemand will.
Niemand will. So nobody is like he or she. Will. Niemand will. Nobody wants to help her. Nobody wants to help her.
Niemand will ihr helfen.
Niemand will ihr helfen. What was to give again? To give?
Geben.
Geben. To forgive. To forgive is vergeben.
Vergeben.
In the same way that we give to somebody, we also forgive to somebody in German. So, I forgive you.
Ich vergebe dir.
Very good. Ich vergebe dir. So, vergeben is not splittable now. Ich vergebe dir. The past of geben was gegeben. So how might the past of vergeben be?
Vergegeben.
Ver doesn't move. It's not splittable.
Vergeben.
Vergeben. Good. It's the same. The to form is the same as the past because, of course, we can't have the ge when we have a non-movable piece like ver, and we know we don't add the t onto geben. This is irregular. We know that because we have gegeben. So the past of vergeben is just vergeben. I forgave you. I have forgiven you.
Ich habe dir vergeben.
Ich habe dir vergeben. To ask in German, to ask, is fragen.
Fragen.
What verb might this be in English if we have the P to F shift, like in help, helfen? And there's another shift there too. What might it be in English? Fragen. F to P? And what do G's become?
Y. P and Y, but pray.
Pray. It is actually to pray, but it means to ask. And still we have in English the expression pray tell, if you've heard that, or why pray are you? No, and that's why ask. Why I ask, pray tell. I ask you tell. So it's still used like that in English in some fixed expressions, if you've ever heard them. So fragen, like pray, but to ask in German. So just like helfen, to help, or vergeben, to forgive, surprise us using to me, mir, instead of just me, mich. To him, ihm, instead of just him, ihn. Just like these verbs surprised us by doing this, other verbs might surprise us too. We might see a verb like fragen, to ask, and think, okay, I've got this covered. This in German must be to ask too. But German can surprise us. So with fragen, we don't ask to someone in the way we tell or say to someone. We just ask them. We use ihn, sie, mich, dich, those words. rather than mir, dir, ihr, etc. How would you say, I want to ask you something? I want to ask you something.
Ich will dich etwas fragen.
Ich will dich etwas fragen. I have asked you something.
Ich habe dich etwas gefragt.
Very good. Ich habe dich etwas or was gefragt. Nobody was. Do you remember nobody?
Niemand.
Niemand. So the ni at the beginning is a bit longer because we have ie, like in die, niemand. Nobody asked you. Nobody asked you.
Niemand hat du gefragt.
So du is when you have
Hat.
asked. But to ask you,
Niemand hat dich gefragt.
very good. Niemand hat dich
gefragt.
He didn't ask me anything.
Hat mich nichts gefragt.
Very good. Hat mich nichts
gefragt.
I didn't ask him anything.
Ich habe ihn nichts gefragt.
Ich habe ihn nichts
gefragt.
I didn't tell him anything. I didn't tell him anything.
Ich habe ihn nichts gesagt.
So whilst when we ask, we just ask directly somebody ihn. When we say to somebody. So we don't use ihn, but
Ihm.
the word that looks like him in English. So I didn't tell him anything.
Ich habe ihm nichts gesagt.
Ich habe ihm nichts
gesagt.
So in German, when we use words like me, her, him, we need to think about if we mean just me or to me, for me, if we mean just him or to him, for him. Sometimes German will disagree with you, and this doesn't mean that you haven't understood the rules, only that German sees the world differently to you. So when we come across words like mir, dir, ihr, ihm, we should make a habit of taking a moment to analyze the context in which we find them and try to figure out why these words are being used.